Good morning, everyone. KJ here. I stole my husband's birthday gift that I got him. It's a ceramic coffee mug with fishing lures on them. Oh, yeah, he'll get it back. But right now, KJ is going to have some coffee in this really cool cup, y'all. Isn't it cute? We don't use lures. We just use night crawlers and, that's basically all we use. We don't use minnows or anything like that. Good morning, Stacia Santa Maria. Good morning. I finally am able to have some live stream. Good day to KJ and the Rays. I'm still looking. Well, there you go, Stacia. Good Black Friday, y'all. It's Black Friday. How many of y'all are going to go out here and get in a line for 10 damn hours to get a mini microwave or something like that? Now, I'm not going to make fun of that. Some people enjoy going and doing that, getting those Black Friday deals. And for people that can't get out, there's always Cyber Monday. Any way they can get your money, they're going to get it. Good morning, Fancy Nancy Bergbauer. Good morning, Mikhail Callahan, Chris Arnett. Oh, isn't that cup cool, Fancy Nancy? Huh? So it is Friday. And for those that didn't catch KJ making an ass of myself last night for Thanksgiving, I hope people understand that I put a lot of fun and laughter into those little skits and things that I do. I really enjoy it, and I appreciate everyone allowing me to do that. Fancy Nancy says, not me, not getting out today. Y'all, it makes me a freaking nervous wreck just to go into a Walmart parking lot and try to find a parking place. And then you got all these, I'm not one of these people that have to be, I'm not claustrophobic about being out in the public or anything like that, but damn, there's so many people out and, I guess I just like things simple, Chris Arnett says, can't stand Black Friday. To each his own, but I can't. LOL. Mikhail Callahan says, the hair was priceless. Oh, I know, y'all. It probably looked a lot better than what it looks like when I roll out of bed. But I had fun nonetheless. And I got to sing. Now, y'all know, for those that know, my cat, Miss Kitty, which was my mother's cat, every time I start singing, she walks away. You can find those shorts on this channel. I'm not much of a singer, but I do put my heart into it. Good morning, wise old lady. So there's nothing out here on Black Friday that KJ has got to go out and get. I do a lot of my shopping online because I live out in such a rural community. But Christmas is coming, y'all. You know it. I know it. It's always about gift giving. Really, what am I supposed to get grown sons other than money? What can I get them like underwear and socks and things like that, y'all. I do. I get them things that I know they would wear socks with holes in them if I didn't get them some new socks and underwear. Well, they're boxers because my boys wear boxers, but I'm sure they want everyone to know that. But, I'm more of a, one of these types that want to give a gift that people are actually going to use. When it comes to my husband, Wayne, every year I run into the same thing because there's nothing that Wayne, that I can think of that he would want other than to say at the beginning of the summer, we bought that boat. Maybe I can find some accessories or things that he might like. Or maybe like a hoodie that says gone fishing or something because he's got everything else. Good morning, K-Tech. Good morning, Wendy Bastings. Good morning, Marilyn. My dad used to say, let's sit in a circle and pass around $100 bill. Ha, ha, ha. That's cute, Fancy Nancy. As many of y'all know, my dad passed when I was 10 years old. He loved Christmas, from what I can recall. On Christmas Eve, we'd all sit around and he'd tell us stories about when he was a little boy. The 5 foot of snow, walking through the 5 foot of snow and all that. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so Thanksgiving's in the bag. I got some great news. I want to make an announcement. Because KJ did not have the traditional big turkey Thanksgiving dinner, KJ doesn't have to go to the bathroom much today. The X-File says, good morning, KJ. Black Friday rolls around and I completely shut down and stay home. Children get older, I give money. There you go. That's about where I'm at, X-Files. Good morning, Nicole. How are you? So, I'm going to absolutely, y'all, sometime this week, I'm going to get out the Christmas tree and I'm going to decorate it. I know I'm not sounding excited about it, but it's not like it was when my children were younger. They're older. They come by Christmas Eve. They open up a few gifts, and they come back Christmas morning and open up some more. And then we usually eat a big breakfast on Christmas morning, and then they're off to other family members' events. That's really what it comes down to. My husband and children get gift cards for gas, Trader Joe's, and money. Works for me. I never did Black Friday, says Marilyn. Nicole says, there's always a positive to find in a negative. There you go. That's a great attitude, Nicole. Oh, my goodness. Nicole, are you going Black Friday shopping? I don't think so. So, as usual, y'all, as we get through this month, we've got, a week away, y'all, less than a week away for the motion hearing of Chad Daybell. I'll say that instead of calling him an asshole, okay? And I was looking on the portal of the legal documents, and I want to put this in the record. Then we're going to go on to other interesting things that I think y'all might enjoy. And, of course, always, I love to hear your comments. Y'all know it. It helps me to continue to blab my mouth and try to figure out what it is that we all talk about during the time that I'm drinking my Java. Nicole says, no, I just hate shopping. And Cindy Bullock says, good morning, everyone. I'm so glad I made it. Well, I'm glad you made it too, Cindy. So let's read this in the record. It's very short. This is in response to the state of Idaho's prosecuting team wanting to change the venue back to Fremont County. Y'all know where I stand with it. But let's just see what old John Pryor, him and his flask, his whiskey drinking flask there, got to say here, all right? Response and objection to motion to reconsider venue. Comes now John Pryor, counsel for the defendant hereby responds and objects to the state's motion to reconsider venue as follows. Number one, the state has failed to provide any legal authority to allow a motion to reconsider a court's prior ruling. Counsel for the defendant is unaware of any Idaho authority that allows the court to reconsider the court's previous ruling. That's a good point, y'all. Counsel for the defense seeks an order from the court denying the state's motion without further hearing. Number two, the state has failed to provide any legal or factual authority that overcomes the court's previous extensive analysis and ruling that a change of venue was warranted in moving the case to Ada County. Number three, the state has referenced only an interview and media presentation as the authority to justify the change of venue back to Fremont County. The state has failed to submit any expert analysis or any authority other than the perception of a handful of people who were interviewed for a media article. And y'all remember back when they were doing that change of venue for Chad, and they went through all that analysis of how many clicks East Idaho News had and all that. Well, the state didn't attach it this time. The defendant's right to a fair and impartial trial has not changed in any regard because the Vallow trial occurred first. Further, the state has presented no evidence that any of their selective choices in eastern Idaho would provide any better chance of a fair and impartial trial other than Ada County. The state is seeking a move of a trial to a number of eastern Idaho counties as alternatives, and in essence is forum shopping to gain an advantage in the upcoming trial. Let's stop there for a minute. Forum shopping, many of y'all know what this is, but for those that don't understand that, forum shopping is when a prosecuting team wants to go to a county where they think they're going to fare good. It's not about the state wanting to give Chad Daybell his due process or anything like that. That's what John Pryor is telling this judge. He is accusing the state of forum shopping. The state is engaging in last-minute grandstanding by attempting to cause potential further delay by seeking a change of venue months before a trial. Are we really going to go there, John Pryor? You're the damn asshole that kept trying to put this off, and now you're saying that the state is engaging in last-minute grandstanding by attempting to cause potential further delay. Well, John Pryor, you have delayed this as long as you're going to delay it. Defendant reserves the right to provide further argument at the hearing on this matter and additional argument if the court even chooses to allow the motion to reconsider to proceed. In the event the court allows this motion to reconsider to proceed and the state supplements their motion with additional evidence or attempts to present witness testimony, the defense would request a continuance. So 1 minute John Pryor is saying that the state is trying to delay shit, and the next minute he wants a freaking continuance, because ultimately, y'all, John Pryor's not ready to really go there. And you know, what he is seeking basically is to judge. We're not even going to talk about this at a hearing, Judge Boyce. We just want an order saying that you're not going to do this. But if you're going to do this, and the state's going to supplement it, i.e., put all that data in there about East Idaho News or any kind of these media reports or whatever, then we want a continuance. So there you go. Hi, Madam August Butterfly. Hi, Mary Seidler, Eileen Staunch. Mary Seidler said, KJ, if Chad was your client, you would want a flask too. I'm sure John Pryor's got his medicine cabinet in the back of his office there where he can open up the door and choose either whiskey, vodka, tequila on them bad days when Chad is correcting him, right? Well, that won't go anywhere in my view, y'all. They're not going to move it back to Fremont County. I mean, this whole argument of saving money and all this and that, when they gave the freaking hussy the full meal deal, it ain't going to fly. But that's just an opinion. Good morning, Edie Ruth. Good morning, KKB. Good morning, The Journey to Justice. Journey to Justice says, morning, everyone, and hope your Thanksgiving was blessed. So, that's that. And we're going to have the motion hearing coming up. And I'm sure some of that will be ironed out in that hearing, but some of it will probably not be ruled from the bench, and Judge Boyce will come back at some point and he'll have an order. And that'll just be another pre-trial thing that we are covering here on this channel, because we want justice through understanding. We've been through hell and high water through all of this, almost 4 years. I would say it's been 4 years. I keep saying almost 4 years or 4 years. I'd have to look and see. Some of y'all been here from the beginning. So let's move on, y'all. Let's move on. Now, y'all know that Erin Pattison of the Land Down Under, Australia, she has been arrested on 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. And as I told y'all before, I'm not really up to date on Australian law. It's very interesting that they're not even going to touch her till May of next year. So you see, there's not a lot of pretrial stuff going on in Australia, obviously. But there's some fresh new details that have come out. Y'all know how I get updated on this stuff. And how I take the time in my own mind and in my own research and analysis to kind of lay that up against the Chad and Lori Daybell case. But let's look at this, because this is really interesting, y'all. Fresh details have emerged about the past of a woman at the center of one of Australia's biggest mysteries. Erin Patterson, who is accused of murdering 3 people with a poisonous mushroom dish at her home in Victoria, shared details of her horrible upbringing in a text exchange in 2019. Now, when I first read that, I'm like, damn, these journalists, these media people, they can get a hold of anything and they can puff it up, put it in an article, and obviously here I am speaking of it. But it is interesting. The article that I forgot which place it came from, y'all. Y'all have to excuse me. But Erin Patterson, she denies any wrongdoing. In message exchange shortly after her mother, Erin Patterson's mother, Heather Scudder, died, Patterson opened up about her childhood, including how she and her sister were treated, liking it to a Russian orphanage. Patterson described her mother as a cold robot, writing that Mom was ultra weird her whole life. We had a horrible upbringing. Mom was essentially a cold robot. It was like being brought up in a Russian orphanage where they don't touch the babies. The text messages first released by the Herald Sun, there you go, y'all, also detailed how her father attempted to shower his children with love, but ultimately he was a doormat to the mother. Dad wanted to be warm and loving to us, but Mom wouldn't let him because it would spoil us, so he did as she told. She would shout at him if he did the wrong thing, so he became very meek and compliant. My sister and I would hide in our room most of the time, so we couldn't do anything wrong. Obviously, y'all, Erin Patterson remains in custody. Patterson's ex-in-laws, Don and Gail Patterson, Gail's sister Heather Wilkinson, died after symptoms consistent with death cap mushroom poisoning. Wilkinson's husband, Ian, who is a pastor, was released from hospital in September. The remaining attempted murder charges are understood to relate to the attempts to kill her ex-husband, Simon Patterson, in separate incidents in 2021 and 2022. And why do I bring this to your attention? Number one, I made that damn beef Wellington, and I'm proud of that, and the Rays helped me through it, and we were trying to look at another case to kind of see what we could do, if we could figure out through mechanical application of putting a beef Wellington together, maybe that would spill over into the mechanics of the Chad and Lori Daybell case. So what does that right there got anything to do with, in terms of application of the Chad and Lori Daybell case? Folks, why is it that every time these people come out here and do these evil things and murder and do all that it always comes out that they had some terrible childhood or something was wrong? I mean, it's really pathetic. It is. I understand that through mitigation and these reports that have to be done by law and statute before sentencing in some states. But hey, did you see Janice or Barry or Summer go on the stand during sentencing to say, please have mercy on my sister, my hussy sister, or my hussy daughter there? So what if Lori had some kind of toxic childhood? I don't know that to be true. Leah Sottle in her book did talk a little bit about, certain aspects that Lori perhaps, Alex was weighing down on her, trying to have sex with his sister. So what? That doesn't mean that's equal to going out here and murdering children and a beautiful person like Charles Vallow or Tammy Daybell. Or actually trying to get away with murdering Brandon Boudreaux. He didn't do shit. Except have a life insurance policy that Melanie Pulaski could share with the cult. There you go, y'all. The journey to justice has to make the statement, I spent a few hours with the ex-in-laws. I bet that was special. So, ultimately, Erin Patterson, at some point, she is going to be tried if she doesn't take a plea deal. And perhaps all this will even come out further. In some way for her to weasel out, if indeed she did murder. It's the same damn thing every time with these people. Always giving an excuse. Also, I want to talk to y'all about something that I brought up a while back. Don't know if I've got it in front of me. Probably not. It's probably sitting on the freaking damn printer over there. Probably. Okay. Well, it's not. And I don't know where it went, but I had it. And I'll find it as soon as I'm off here. You can be sure of that. Here we go. Okay, I found it. Here we go. More than a month after a Gardner woman was found slain in her home, law enforcement officials continue to search for the suspected killer's whereabouts. And this was what we talked about last time, y'all, when we joined together for Coffee with KJ. The reason I bring this to your attention is when anything pulls at me or nags at me, that's when I will deal with it. Remember, this is the Aaron Pennington. Him and his wife were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They had children ages 2, 5, 7, and 9. That's 4 children. And this guy, he shoots his wife in the face, and then he takes off. And then if you'll Google it yourself, they talk about the search has been suspended for almost a month. Well, they finally updated the situation. Breanne Breezy Pennington, 30, was shot to death in her bedroom on Cherry Street, in a Cherry Street home she shared with her husband, Aaron Pennington, on Sunday, October 22nd. The couple's 4 children ran to the neighbor's house while their father fled the scene. Breanne earned her childhood nickname Breezy due to her love of horseback riding, according to her aunt Brenda Hull. She had long blonde hair as a child, and she would ride her horse running through the neighborhood, and that hair would go flying in the wind. There she goes. There's Breezy. Breanne was born in Tacoma, Washington on October 27th of 1992. According to her obituary, she graduated from Riverside High School and attended Riverside Community College, both in Riverside, California. She was a congregant of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints of Gardner, and a murder warrant for this Pennington guy issued by the Worcester County District Attorney's Office was filed in Gardner District Court. Officials told the public that the suspect should be considered armed and dangerous. Pennington, 33, was described as a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes, 6 feet 2 inches tall, and approximately 175 pounds. Pennington is a veteran of the U.S. Air Force. The murder warrant included chilling details that suggested that the murder of Breanne Pennington had been premeditated. A search of her husband's phone turned up a note that had been written on the device the night before Breanne's body was discovered. According to investigators, the note found on the device read, "Don't say anything. Be quiet. If she wakes up, just say you're getting nasal spray. get on side of bed, very close proximity to head, put a hole in her head. The search for Pennington eventually focused on the wooded area of Camp Collier near the Ashburnham-Gardner line after the suspect's car was discovered by a hunter the day after the shooting, about 1,500 yards off of Kelton Street. The discovery of the car caused police to issue an hours-long shelter-in-place for residents in the area, while officials searched cars, backyards, and nearby woods for any sign of the suspect. Later, law enforcement officials spent days searching hundreds of heavily wooded acres around Camp Collier for any sign of the suspect. Officials asked residents to check their trail cams or ring footage for possible clues that could assist the investigation. A Massachusetts State Police dive team searched Lake Wampanoag, I guess that's how you say it, but Pennington could not be located. Police conducted their last, and that's underlined in the article, y'all, their last formal search for Pennington on October the 31st, when state police drones and canine units were used to search the area near Camp Collier. In November 21st email, the Worcester County District Attorney's Office said they had no new updates on the case. Joining Gardner and Ashburnham Police in the search were the State Police Special Response Team, the State Police Tactical Operations Response Team, and the Violent Fugitives Apprehension Section and State Police Canine Units. And just to let y'all know, the couple's 4 children were placed in the custody of the Massachusetts Department of Family Services, and that's so sad, y'all. Just think about that. These children are in state custody. It just was Thanksgiving yesterday. Christmas is coming up. In a last article, this Brianne here, she was thinking she was going to move back to Texas. Something was wrong, and he killed her. He absolutely murdered her. He premeditatedly murdered her. And yet, this is what we get. Again, this goes back to, I don't give a damn how much money it costs. I mean, for the freaking sake of the community, you got a man who has got a problem shooting his wife in the face, knowing his children are in the house and taking off. Don't give a shit about what those children having to leave the house to go to a neighbor to say, our mom is crying, something's wrong. This man is an absolute murderer. And they should really do more than stop this formal search and get down to the nitty gritty. Cindy Bullock says they have to still be looking for him. Plenty places he can hide here in Utah. Lots of Mormon groups. Good point, Cindy Bullock. But they're saying that they were originally from California and that he might pop up in California. As y'all recall, the hussy she lived in California. So, I mean, I don't know. Heather Feather says, hi, KJ. My mother passed yesterday. So now you are my only source of cantankerous Jerry energy. I adore you and thank you for being here to help me get past my sadness. My heart goes out to you, Heather Feather. My heart goes out to you. That just absolutely just made me think about when I found out my mother had passed. It was devastating. It was absolutely devastating. She went in for a 2-hour procedure to clean out a carotid artery. It was supposed to be fine, says my sister, my oldest sister. And she gets home, her oxygen levels bottom out. They send her back to the hospital. And she's doesn't spend no more than a day before she passes. Heather, I'm so sorry to hear that. We had people on the stream last night talking about how much they miss their mother. And that really hurts me. It hurts me for you, and it reminds me of my deep grief and sorrow myself. So, I love you. I hope you'll be okay. I don't know what faith you are, but in my belief, There ain't going to be no more crying. There ain't going to be no more hurting. There ain't going to be none of this crazy stuff that people have to deal with here on this earth anymore for your mother. She's going to be in a beautiful, perfect place where it's just absolute peace. And every time I get to being sad that my mom is not here, I have to remind myself that I love her so much. Why would I want anything else but for her to be at perfect peace? So God bless you, and I'm so sorry that she passed on Thanksgiving. Well, Donna, when you say my mother needs her artery cleaned out, but we're not doing it unless she strokes, it's my understanding that the doctor scared my mother basically and said, if you don't have this done, you're going to end up, basically wearing a diaper and someone's going to have to take care of you. Imagine that. My mother goes and does that because she don't want no one else to fret over her. That tells you the kind of woman my mother is and will always be. Loving and always thinking of others. And everybody, Heather Feather, Bonnie Shaw, all of y'all that have given your condolences. Heather Feather, we love you. We're so sorry to hear this. So that's that. And it's hard to continue to move forward on a Friday trying to stay disciplined when I hear news like that. It just absolutely knocks me off my chair, so to speak. And I'd honestly I don't think I've got the words, even though I'm trying. It's sad. It's hurtful. It feels like a deep loss. And if I'm not careful, Heather Feather, it'll throw me back into a deep depression. I just keep having to remind myself that my mother's at peace and very happy, and that's what I would want for her. And the good Lord gave me 50 years with her, and that's a real blessing. Donna Donald says, let's get up and do some jumping jacks and try to reset. Well, I'll tell you what, Donna Donald. OKJ just woke up here shortly ago. And if you're asking me to stand up and do jumping jacks, you got another thing coming. Because I ain't going to do it. I still have fishing lag from being out on the boat all day yesterday. I mean, I had that one glass of wine on the live stream last night, and it put me out. I went to bed. I woke up this morning feeling like dog shit. And I wasn't even hungry. I only had one glass of wine. So I ain't going to be doing, I'm not going to be doing any jumping jacks. But you can do them for me, Donna Donald. I'm still waiting for the pole dance. Thought I'd forget, huh? Oh, yes, I remember that, the Journey to Justice. We're talking about Charlie Adelson, and Donna Adelson spent Thanksgiving in jail yesterday. Remember what Charlie Adelson said on the stand? If I was guilty, I would head for the airport, LOL. Donna, why would Charlie let his mother keep talking on the jail calls? She's going to have the money for a really good defense there, the Journey to Justice. But she's going to have a hard time explaining. It was absolutely ballsy. And I challenge anyone that's not really into the case of Charlie Adelson to go back and listen to his cross-examination. Because he took the stand. He was ballsy. He had an excuse for everything. Isn't that really what it's always been about? Remember Jodi Arias? She had all that time to sit in jail and come up with all this crap. And others do. If they don't testify, what happens? At some point when they're convicted, they had a terrible childhood. Go light on them. Have them, what was it? Timothy Ferritter said at his sentencing, lean into mercy. Well, did his ass lean into mercy for his son by putting him in that damn box? The hubris. When people commit these evil acts, the hubris. Right. Right, the journey to justice. We had to listen to Jodi Arias for 18 damn days. Go on and on and on. Try to do the shiny object of this sexual relationship she was in with Travis Alexander. I mean, come on, y'all. People can make it controversial all they want by saying they shouldn't have been doing that because they were in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They were young people exploring themselves. I mean, I understand the definition of fornication and all that. I get it. But what I'm telling you is that she talked about anything, or at least she attacked the victim. I mean, isn't that what Lori did about Charles? I mean, I'd like to see Chad Daybell attack his wife Tammy, because he ain't going to be able to tell anybody that she was a terrible wife or anything like that. Wendy Basting says, my son spent his first Thanksgiving on a Navy ship yesterday. I'm so proud of him, but I sure do miss him being at home. Well, Wendy Bastings, when you talk to your son again, please let him know KJ thanks him for his service. Also, my husband, Wayne, is a Navy veteran. He was in the Seabees. He was in a construction battalion. They dropped his ass off in Taiwan or wherever years and years ago, and they didn't tell him where they were going, and they just went in there and built whatever the government wanted them to build. But I understand how it must feel to be away. I don't have a son who's in the service, but they're gone all the time. I've got one son who's estranged that I haven't seen in nearly 2 years. So, but at least your son is serving his country, and I'm so proud for you, Wendy. You must be beaming with pride for your son who is out there doing it to it. America! America! The Journey to Justice says, well, Charlie and his mother cannot talk anymore. Well, I don't know, the Journey to Justice, whether Donna Adelson is going to take the stand in if she has a trial. I don't know if she'll agree with a plea agreement or what she'll do. But I'm just glad, because when Charlie Adelson, I had heard about this several years ago, and I thought, that family, that Adelson family, they thought they could get away with that. And then it dropped off the radar there for a while, and I wasn't following it. And then, lo and behold, he's being tried. And I thought, in my mind, I thought, is she in the courtroom? Does she know? Because I knew his mother was involved. And then when I got the news that she got busted at the airport, you know, it was like it finally has. The wheels of justice have turned slowly, but she didn't get away with it. Donna has to take the stand. She loves to talk, says the Journey to Justice. Donna Donald says, if I play my Lolo dance at 2 times on Cresh's channel, can I avoid a copyright strike? I did the video, but I don't want to strike Cresh. Oh, you got a real good, valid thing there, Donna. That's brilliant. I know you'd have shared it if you could. Kimberly Sis said, I had Thanksgiving with my ex, his wife, our kids, their kids, and our grands. Missed my daughter that's estranged from us so much. Well, Kimberly Sis, not a day goes by that I don't think about my son. Every time it rains, every time it's cold, every time I hear there's something going on in the city he's supposed to be in, I really, truly have in my heart of hearts given it to God. But there's still those moments that it bothers me immensely. It hurts me. Really, Jennifer Esslinger, what are you talking about? You helped me get my case reviewed by SCOTUS. I don't understand that. What do you mean? That's interesting. Good morning, Ann Gibson. I'm doing well. Donna Donald, I wish that that's all it was. I wish that it was that's all it was, that he's just too prideful. It ain't about right and wrong at this point. What I do believe is that he has untreated mental illness. That's what I believe. I'm no professional, but I know my son, and mentally and emotionally and his behaviors and all that, how I knew him and everything, it disappeared. He disappeared around his 11th and 12th grade year of high school. By the time it was said and done, he was 18. I just didn't grasp. I thought he was just rebellious and stuff. But when they turn 18, unless they're harm to themselves or others, you can't do nothing about it. Really, Jennifer Esslinger? I know what SCOTUS is. I just don't know what you mean by that. Thank you, Ann Gibson. Pro se, says Jennifer Esslinger. Well, good for you. I maybe I'm just not remembering, and I'm feeling a little embarrassed and ashamed, Jennifer. Wish you could remind me. Y'all, I don't remember. So, I understand, KJ, more than you know. I have homeless, mentally ill son. I've tried having him committed. They just let him back out. I have to put it in the Lord's hands. Well, Donna, I'm just telling you now, what you just said is exactly where I'm at, okay? It's where I've been. I can't do it anymore. There's no way that I mean, I've tried everything. I've tried throwing money at it. I've tried getting him help and paying everything, paying for cars and apartments and every damn thing else. It does not work. Jennifer Esslinger says it was seeking justice through understanding. I love you too, Donna Donald, and I love all of y'all. But, you know, that's called life. I refuse to just wallow in it. There are days when my depression flares up and I go right to wallowing in it, but not today. Not today. I'm not going to wallow in it today. So finally, on a Friday where I am trying so desperately to be disciplined, but I'm not having much luck at it, I want to update y'all on Tim Ballard. Now, there have been several things that's come out about Tim Ballard. You can piece together all different kinds of articles, like from Vice News, KSL, and all this and that, and try to get the meat and potatoes of where Tim Ballard is right now. Well, I didn't want to have to do that, so I found an article that encompasses every damn thing that Tim Ballard is going through at this point. And it's called, I think it has something to do with Tim Ballard's and some shit. Basically, it's the SH blank T. You can look it up online. It's from Rolling Stone. Mounting legal troubles for the man who inspired the film Sound of Freedom has extended to Operation Underground Railroad, an organization that he founded. And this article, it was written by Miles Klee. Since conservative audiences flocked to Sound of Freedom this summer, turning a biopic about Tim Ballard's supposed exploits as an anti-trafficking operator into an unlikely hit, Ballard has had his heroic mythology rapidly stripped away in a series of lawsuits, formal rebukes, and dissolved relationships. But in recent days, his legal problems have gotten even worse, and now Operation Underground Railroad, the advocacy group he founded in 2013, is in the crosshairs as well. Ballard was apparently forced out of Utah-based OUR before the premiere of The Sound of Freedom, based on information that emerged after the film's release and his press tour in September. Reports confirmed that he left due to an internal investigation related to sexual misconduct claims. The following month, 5 women filed a lawsuit alleging he had sexually assaulted and emotionally abused them while they took part in OUR operations, which typically involved traveling abroad and posing as sexual predators in a sting operation meant to catch pedophiles. A second lawsuit from an unnamed married couple claimed that such behavior between Ballard and his wife on undercover operations had caused the pair to separate. Ballard has denied these claims in statements made through another anti-trafficking organization, the Spear Fund, that until recently listed him as a senior advisor, but no longer feature him as a team member on their website. Spear did not return Rolling Stone's request for comment, nor did Ballard. So let's stop there. If Tim Ballard had to leave OUR, which we know he did, under that terrible situation, and he created the Spear Fund, now even the Spear Fund is distancing themselves from Tim Ballard. Or at least Tim Ballard's making people think that the Spear Fund, he's got to have a way to funnel the freaking money that these wealthy men pay so that they can have the sexual Walt Disney type of experience there. OUR has made efforts to move on after cutting ties with Ballard, but a new lawsuit from an ex-operative targets both the group and its embattled founder. Also named in the filing is OUR's former director of security, Matt Cooper, Ballard's first employee there, who is likewise no longer with the organization. The suit, brought by social worker Bree Ryder, a Marine veteran who reached the rank of corporal, pertains to the men's alleged sexual misconduct on an undercover mission and a severe eye injury she sustained during a training exercise in 2021 at the OUR gym. Vice reviewed the complaint. Quote, Ballard was present and refused to call an ambulance because he wanted no record of the event occurring at OUR's training. End of quote there. With Ryder going on to require extensive surgery and an eye socket implant to replace a shattered orbital bone, she has suffered long-term vision problems as a result, the filing claims. In the suit, Ryder also claims that she traveled to British Virgin Islands with Ballard and Cooper, where she was assigned to act as Cooper's romantic partner in an undercover strategy Ballard had called the couple's ruse. Other women suing the ousted OUR leader allege that he would use this as a pretext to coerce them into having sex, purportedly to convince potential traffickers that their false identities were authentic. In this case, Ryder alleges Ballard used the arrangement to pressure her to have sex with Cooper. Furthermore, she claims Ballard and his own couple ruse partner treated the mission like a debauched vacation, visiting bars, strip clubs, and massage parlors. Attempts to reach Cooper were unsuccessful. It became very evident to plaintiff that OUR only focused on allowing its celebrity founder, defendant Tim Ballard, to live the lavish lifestyle of a wealthy sex tourist and sexually manipulate and abuse employees, contractors, and volunteers under the guise of saving children, the suit alleges. The filing also claims that R showed little consideration for the safety of its staff and volunteers, focused instead on crafting a marketable public image. In a statement shared with Rolling Stone, an OUR spokesman, attempted to downplay Ballard's role before his departure. Now let's stop there for a minute. OUR now is trying to downplay things by saying this. While Tim Ballard was the public face of the organization during his tenure as CEO, he directly participated in less than 1% of R's operations between January 2020 and his departure in June of 2023. And take that into consideration. That time at 1%, if it's true, think of all the freaking stupid things Tim Ballard was promoting on podcasts and all that other stuff during this time. He was lying to people, telling people he was freaking jumping out of helicopters and all kind of crazy shit. It also talks about the organizations also said that the allegations that R is the alter ego of Tim Ballard is false. It's not just civil suits dogging Ballard. The Salt Lake Tribune reported last week that a criminal investigation has been opened after Celeste Borges, a former assistant of Ballard's and one of the women suing him for sexual and emotional abuse, made an official police report earlier this month in Linden, Utah. This too prompted a statement from the Spear Fund, which sought to cast doubt on the verified criminal complaint against Ballard. The story, Spear President Ken Krogu alleged, is designed to stir up a media frenzy, to harm the reputation of Mr. Ballard, and to impede his and other efforts to fight the sex trafficking industry. While Ballard previously had strong allies in Utah to help him through such dire circumstances, this may no longer be the case. In September, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, of which he is a member, took the extraordinary step of publicly condemning him for morally unacceptable behavior and removed articles promoting Ballard and his work from their website. They also took those books of his out of Deseret Bookshop. He said he does not believe the institution actually delivered a statement against him. Well, he was wrong, right? The church has not confirmed a rumor that they've also revoked his membership, which y'all, I don't know if he's been, has left the church or not. Meanwhile, really, is that so far-fetched for me to say I don't know whether he's left the church or not? If you've got Melanie Gibb, Melanie Pulowski, Zulema, and the rest of them still attending church, give me a break. Meanwhile, Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes, a longtime friend of Ballard, who has taken part in OUR activities, is in line for an audit by state lawmakers who will be looking for any hint of corruption in the relationship. And I hope they find it, and I hope they bust Attorney General Sean Reyes. He's covered it up enough shit. If Ballard is arrested in connection with Borey's sexual assault complaint, it would nearly conclude his swift and stunning fall from national acclaim in the span of 6 months. And let's just stop there a minute. A lot of these people knew what was going on. And make no mistake, I believe Russell M. Ballard also knew what was going on. Maybe to not that degree, but, to say this all went down in 6 months, when the whole year before everybody knew this shit was going on, it's pathetic. In this case, Ryder alleges Ballard used the arrangement to pressure her to have sex with Cooper. Furthermore, she claims Ballard and his own couple's ruse partner treated the mission like a debauched vacation, which I've read that again. I must have redone that. But let me get back to this. Sorry, y'all. But even without charges filed in that case, it seems unlikely that he will recover the kind of reputation that once saw him appointed to a White House anti-trafficking advisory panel by then President Trump. As Borges puts it in a statement to the media on Tuesday, quote, "The very organization that claims to fight traffickers turned me over to a trafficker." And there's been a lot of talk that Tim Ballard and his operations there they were going to these countries, and they were actually, what they were doing, it really had the opposite effect there, that it was actually making a demand. If there's some rich man going into Colombia or Mexico and saying, "I'll pay you all this money for these women or these children or whatever. You think these Mexican people aren't going to go find somebody to make some money with when they wouldn't have done it before? It's true, Cindy Bullock. They did. They went on a private island. They had yachts. And it was all funded by well-meaning people who wanted to fight child sex trafficking and sex trafficking of women. They took all that money. I told y'all last time, we're talking millions upon millions of dollars. Make no mistake. These women, there's one man whose wife left him. They're separated. I don't care. I don't care at all if they're wanting money. I don't. I mean, what else can they get to remedy that? I hope they sue the shit out of them. Well, they are suing the shit out of them. And I hope they sue OUR, the Spear Fund, and the whole 9 yards. We'll let everyone else out here in the world that wants to do this kind of stuff open up these organizations and lie to their donors. They better nip it in the bud. Sheila Force says, I have never heard of any other religion that talks all about sex and things related to it. God knows. It would make me and many of these people who have been victimized and used by Tim and the church who backed him happy, says Difficult Research. Hello, Cressa. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Then why in the hell is Ken discrediting the victim and taking up for Tim? If he ain't even on the Spear Fund board, so dumb all these millionaires. Well, I'll tell you what, Cressa, Glenn Beck and others have done their best to distance themselves from all this. I mean, all they have to do, really, is say, I was fooled, I was tricked. Christopher Parrott, I guess a Parole, or however you say his name, he was standing by Chad Daybell until the shit hit the fan, and then he lied to me. He lied to me. No, Christopher Parrott is just as nutty as Chad Daybell. Glenn Beck is Tim's brother-in-law. Well, I'll tell you something, Cressa. If anyone thinks that Catherine Ballard don't know the deal, I think she knows the deal. And this goes back to, sometimes these wives, they're willing to let their husbands go and take out their sexual whatever on other women so they don't have to deal with it. That's a good theory. Cressa says they are all corrupt. And happy Thanksgiving to you all. Love y'all. Yeah, I believe it, Cressa. She knew who was buttering her bread. If he goes down, she goes down. Her quality of life goes down. Well, I'll tell y'all right now, the only real quality in life is to do the right thing. To care for other people, to love and think of others. Not me, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. Let me run out here and do all this so that I can hold on to my husband's fortune or whatever. It's corrupt. It's twisted. Good morning, Liza Joe. So, the bottom line on Tim Ballard is, that's the best article that kind of sums everything up. He can shit in one hand and hope in the other, and he's going to have his ass puckering for a while. And of course, he's going to take the money he's made and get his ass a good attorney. Just as Donald Adelson is going to have a good attorney. And it's all going to come out in the wash. I told y'all all, I mean it. I'm not sure what's all going to be revealed. I'm not just talking about Tim Ballard's personal disgusting behavior. I'm talking about other things that are going to be revealed. That one fella, I forgot, he's got some website, who came out in defense of Tim Ballard and said that none of that was true and everything. Well, he's come out now to say, why are they saying that Russell M. Ballard had nothing to do with any of this? I was sitting in the room with Russell M. Ballard and Tim Ballard. So this guy, he's come clean about it. He sees the forest through the trees. His name is Russell Brunson. That's right, Cresha. He's just done blown Tim Ballard and that church out of the water in terms of that leadership. I find it quite interesting that Russell M. Ballard has recently passed away. Wonder how that's going to smooth things over, right? It was a whiteboard meeting. That's right. That's right, Cresha. They wanted to all figure out how to make money. And, in order to, I guess, to feel like they could do all this stuff, that they had to have some pretext that they were going to save the kids, something that they would justify what they were doing. Doesn't that sound so familiar with Chad and Lori and the rest of these cult members? All they were doing, endorsing his spouse's religious beliefs, but they forgot that they were doing all this to murder people. Or at least, they put that blanket. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. No, you're not super late, Liza Joe. It's snowing in Utah, and my dog is a hairy boy in a hairy doodle. I bet that dog is sweet, Liza Joe. Oh, for goodness sake, Cresha, does that shock any of us? His attorneys are Curtin and McConkie, so gross. Are you serious? Are you talking about Tim Ballard? That's his attorneys? Oh my gosh. You would think they would turn away. Oh my gosh, he's got something on him, if that's the case. If they're stepping up to represent Tim Ballard, McConkie and dude there, oh my Lord. Tim Ballard's got a story to tell now, doesn't he? It may take a while to catch these guys, and they may have fancy lawyers, but one day they have to face God, and they will never sleep peaceful, says Ann Gibson. That's a wake-up call, y'all. Cresha says, me and Jason are keeping our eyes on Lori's brother and uncle, too, with their newfound home here on YouTube and have an MPO, and it just sounds like the same pattern we see with these other folks. Y'all, it's creepy. And hey, I'm all for anyone going and doing whatever. I mean, what you do is your own business. If you want to go here, there, everywhere on YouTube or other social media platforms, that's your business. But OKJ is not going to even touch that. It's disgusting. It's wrong. It's wrong. Cresha says, let me find out money is being funneled. Y'all will have to hold me back physically. Well, there you go, y'all. And Gibson says, I can't watch them, Cresha. I can't. And there was someone who, I forgot who it was. I don't have enough coffee. And he said that they tried watching it and they just seemed too arrogant. Like what? They're lowercase G's? Lucretia says, I'm all about it too, but I'm against doing it under the guise of being noble. Susan Honecker says it seems like these people have no conscience. They don't feel or care. Liza Joe, I am 99.99% positive that until a certain aspect of Lori's appeal is taken care of, that appeals process, the initial one, has to run its course before she can get extradited to Arizona. And it makes sense because we all know she's not going to get her appeal, but for sake of argument, they have to, for sake of argument, she did get her appeal. What is she doing over in Arizona when the appeal comes down? You know what I'm saying? So, and obviously that's not going to happen. She's not going to get out on appeal, but they have to make it look like they're giving her a fair shot, right? Liza Joe, appeals take years, right? But I'm talking about the initial appeal on the district court there, the first one. Once that one's aside, other appeals will kick in on a state and federal level, and those can go on for years. But it's the initial one that they've got to determine up front that she doesn't get an appeal from the district court there. The Supreme Court of Idaho is looking. They have an appeals attorney that's looking at it all. They've asked for all this stuff. They'll go through it. They'll say her appeal is denied, and then she will be able to be extradited onto Arizona. That's just, I believe that. I believe that's probably 100% correct. But I'll say 99.99 just to be on the safe side. Good morning, Jennifer Cheney. Yeah, Liza Joe, she'll get taken to Arizona. She'll be extradited. It's just this first appeal, they have that procedure going on, and they've got to make it look like they're giving her a fair shot, right? So that's what I think. Yeah, Jennifer Esslinger, when you say you have some reason to appeal, don't you? And we've talked about it, and you can find it online on Cases of Interest in Idaho, her appeal and her updated appeal. The things that they listed out that they want an appeals court to say either that was right or wrong. And none of it, y'all. I've looked at it. Everything was done on the level. As much as we all bitched and complained about Judge Boyce, everything's fine. She's not going to get her first appeal. She's just not. She better get used to being a prisoner for the rest of her freaking days. Right. Hey, Jennifer, I can look you in the face right now and say Lori Hussey Daybell will never get out of incarceration. Never. And Chad Daybell's going to be convicted as well. I don't believe he'll have the death penalty, but either way it goes, Chad's up shit creek without a paddle. I do believe, Jennifer Esslinger, I wish I could point you to which video it was that I did a while back on the different line items of the appeal. I could give you an example. I wish I could think of them all, and I had them right here in front of me. One of them was her stay in the mental facility. They're looking at that. They also talk about remember the change of the language from first-degree murder and grand theft by deception. They changed that in the trial right now. John Pryor's against the state doing this to nip it in the bud before the trial, but it's all legal. It's just line items like that. Also, I believe one of them is they're looking at the jury instructions to make sure that nothing was confusing or anything to the jury and all that. Bonnie Shaw says, my first thought when you said fair shot was right between her eyes. I think I need another cup of coffee. Well, you know what I meant by that, Bonnie Shaw. They have to, this judicial system and the way that legality is, they've always got to seem like we only rely on the framework and the statutes and codes. We don't have an opinion one way or the other about the hussy. But make no mistake, even Judge Boyce, a neutral arbiter of justice at Lori's sentencing, laid into that damn whore. He did. And I was proud of every word that came out of Judge Boyce's mouth. And he had a right to say what he said. And he said it in a civil and neutral way. But everybody knew how much of an evil, diabolical hussy she is. Janelle Murphy says, that's probably the only thing that gives her hope. I'm assuming that's appeals. Well, Lori doesn't know, y'all. This is just an opinion. She don't know what it feels like to really have hope. You know, we all do. We hope for a better day. We hope that other people that we love and care about can get through their struggles and their sorrows and all that. We know the feeling of hope. The hussy does not. All she knows and all she knows how to feel is that physical, what can you do for me? How can I get my way? Oh, well, I'll tell you, Liza Joe. Lori Vallow, and you bring up a good point, when she talked her crazy stuff at her sentencing, she says Jesus Christ knows there was no murder. Oh, she's going to have to face the real Jesus Christ. And he's going to, he's going to handle it. We know better. It's absolutely blasphemy what that woman has done. Gresha says, it hurts my heart because they will never know love, grace, and the rest of the things. And just y'all put that in perspective. This is a beautiful victim's family member who lost her loved ones through murder. And yet she is still hurt. It hurts her that these people that took out her family members can't feel. Just as I said last night, people that don't feel, they're the ones I pray for. I'll go on and on about how evil they are. And it's sad, but make no mistake, y'all. A real person with real love in their heart, it's going to hurt you to know that people can do these things. It will all be revealed to Lori, and it will slap her right in the face, says Janelle Murphy. Well, yeah, Janelle, it will, if it hadn't already. I mean, what? It ain't going to be upset or grief-stricken from Lori about anything that happened other than the fact that she can't walk out of a jail cell and hop on a flight to Hawaii and act like a damn hussy. It's all about her. It's all about her. And Chad Daybell, for goodness sake, does anybody, this man cheated on his wife of all those years. He's a scumbag. So any of this bullshit from John Pryor that Chad was a good, faithful member, and people loved him, and he wrote books, and he was a good old fella, well, he sure as hell didn't keep his teeny tiny little Johnson from entering into that black hole. Ann Gibson says Lori is a psychopath. He is. How many times have you dealt with a case where the defense attorney gets up and says, he was a womanizer, he cheated on his wife, it was despicable, but that doesn't make him a murderer? Well, I'll tell you what, if John Pryor gets up and says that shit, he can kiss my country ass. He can kiss it. Why I'm pooping. There you go, I said it. Ann Gibson says, as we say over here, he's a knobhead. I think he had adulterous intentions already besides Lori. Look at Julie Rowe. She claimed Chad made the moves on her. Oh, yeah, Janelle Murphy. And anybody wants to give a shit what Julie Rowe, she goes all those months continuously protecting Chad. Also, as disgusting as it was, she says she saw a vision and the children were just fine. Well, she can kiss my ass too. She takes up for him all that time, but then when all of it goes down and everything, I guess she wanted her Inside Edition plugged there. She wanted to tell everybody, oh, Chad, he sexually assaulted me or whatever the hell. She's so full of it. Gina Jackson says, yeah, he was in it for the weak-minded women at those conferences. You damn Skippy, Gina. You know what's going on. So I guess I'll put Kresha on the spot right now by saying, I'm pretty sure that this motion hearing that's coming up, you're going to cover it, and I want to be there for Kresha. Yes, I might shoot something later on, maybe the day after or something, but I'm absolutely got a surprise for everyone the day before the motion hearing. KJ is going to do it to it. You won't believe what old KJ's going to... I've got a surprise. You'll see. I do my best to always follow through on anything I say, and I've got a surprise. Chad had an adulterous heart and Lori had murderous heart. Look at their actions. Well, I agree with that. Do you think that Lori was out because she wanted the sausage? Let me repeat it. Do you think Lori was out to get the sausage from Chad? No, she didn't. She probably doesn't even really have sexual pleasure. She just lays it out there and bakes it. It was Chad that wanted the hot tuna. You know it, and I know it. Ann Gibson, I'm up to something for the Rays. How about that? For any of y'all that got freaked out when I said what I said, y'all were adults here, and I apologize if I get a little graphic here and there. The only way Chad and Lori even get to talk to each other is by sticking their heads down the toilet. Well, X-Files, the state wants clarification. When the judge said no, you can't have a meeting, Lori, with Chad during this time before their cases were severed, he said that could make other people, like the attorneys and all that, witnesses and all this and that, and he said no. He didn't say in his order they could never speak to each other. They just couldn't have a meet and greet. We should get an order out on that. And really, I guess the question really is, in all this time, has Chad spoke to Lori? Because it would be recorded, right? And if you think that Chad's going to call her up from jail, you got another thing coming. But if it's Lori calling Chad from Pocatello Women's Prison, that would be interesting, would it not? Even if she made a call and it was made public in the trial or even in a media report that she tried to call Chad and he wouldn't accept the call. Well, that damn asshole needs to file divorce papers if he's going to try to distance himself to keep his ass out of trouble. It ain't like John Pryor wouldn't do it. Ain't no divorce papers been filed. And it don't cost no money when you're in the middle of a freaking high-profile case for John Pryor to go over there to his computer and get a formatted document of a dissolution of marriage for Chad and do the work pro bono so his client will look like he really is distancing himself, that he really didn't have anything to do with the murders. Give me a break. Chad Daybell is screwed. Janelle Murphy says, I think his body language says it all when he looked straight ahead and wasn't looking at her when he had the opportunity to. Well, Janelle Murphy, as I recall, there was a time that Chad entered the courtroom and smiled. Nate Eaton, you can look back through his Twitter. He smiled at Lori. You know what I'd be doing if this woman took me for a ride and sexually manipulated me and I didn't know anything about it? I'd be flipping the bird. I'd be looking at her like, F you, woman. KKB says he's going to stay married so she doesn't have to testify against him. Well, I'm not really sure. I'll look it up, though, and you're probably right on that, but I don't think that has any bearing. I think you can testify against your spouse in Idaho? I'm pretty sure you can. Janelle Murphy says maybe at the beginning, but I think he had some time to really think about what he had done. I think you're probably right about that, Janelle Murphy. He's had time to think about how he's so screwed that he's got to do something. And right off the bat, y'all, we were all wondering about why in the legal documents does it always say Lori Vallow? And even in her trial, y'all, it doesn't make sense. Legally, if she is legally married to Chad Daybell, it should be Lori Daybell or Lori Cox, because that's what she sucks. Yes, I said it. Liza Joe says loving prophets are dangerous. Well, I'll tell you what, Chad didn't see this coming. Mr. C and B on the veil bullcrap. He didn't see it coming. Somehow, some way, as they sat on those lounge chairs by the pool in Hawaii and Lori's in her little turquoise bikini, they somehow thought that everyone was just going to forget sweet Tylee and JJ. Wendy Basting says you can testify against a spouse when it involves harming children. There you go. I heard somebody say that she never changed her name legally with Social Security about Lori's name. Okay, Donna, that would explain a lot. I guess she just didn't have time to do that, right? She's too busy purchasing the yoga mats, her wedding dress, the malachite rings. She just didn't have time to even think about any of that, huh? And I say that facetiously. Yeah, right. She had to get her Botox injections. She had to get her nails done. She had to make sure she had those top-of-the-line razors to shave her armpits and legs so she could look real good for Chatty Boy. Janelle says, when he heard a voice tell him his life was going to change, I don't think he thought it would be something that was so evil. Too bad he didn't see that coming. Well, I don't have any sympathy for Chad Daybell. And I don't think Chad Daybell's a victim. I think Chad Daybell enjoyed it. I think Chad Daybell got an erection every time they talked about murdering people. That's what I think. Other people might disagree. There are people in Fremont County, I am sure, that still are in, they're in the corner of old Chatty Boy. And that's sick. That's sick. So, in summarization of all the different things that we talked about, whether it was Aaron Patterson, whether it was Tim Ballard, whether it was this Aaron Pennington, the bottom line is that, it stuns us, it shocks us, it hurts us when people go out here and do these crimes against children and other innocent people. But what really bothers me is that some point through the adjudication process, they start putting the blame on other people, or they want to talk about their childhood. They want to talk about the reasoning behind it. It was freaking evil. It was evil. Why can't they just come out and say it? It was the judge in Alex Murdaugh's case. When he was sentencing Alex Murdaugh, who said, I've never once seen anyone come in here to allocute, in other words, to say, yes, I'm guilty, where they would tell you in the moment that they decided to pull the trigger or anything else, they won't talk about it. The reason these people will not talk about it and push the blame off on other people and also talk about, I would have never done this if I wouldn't have had a shitty childhood, is because they can't face the reality that they've done something evil and wrong. Period. Erin Patterson could be guilty. She could be not guilty. We will find out. They sure as hell wouldn't have arrested her ass on 3 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of attempted murder if they didn't have the goods, or at least a good case. And we saw Lori's trial played out. They had more than enough. They had so much that you didn't have to make a deal with the devil when Melanie Gibb, Sue Lima, or David Warwick, or any of them. You could have just put law enforcement on and showed the text and showed all that. You didn't have to make a deal with the devil. And they did. Use immunity and all. Well, they're fixing to have to go back in April 1st, April Fool's Day. They're going to have to go back and they'll have to repeat their testimony. And I'm sure Melanie Gibb and them will tweak it a little better. And I'm sure that whether there's cameras or not, Melanie Pulaski will do anything for her captain, her precious Aunt Lori, and she won't testify. And I am looking forward to John Pryor chewing them up, spitting them out, because I'm not worried that he would do that, because I know all the other evidence will convict Chad. I'd like to see these people on the hot seat. They didn't get a jail cell, which is exactly where they need to be. Janelle Murphy says, I think Pryor will make those witnesses squirm. Melanie Gibb will have her sweetest smile and pink sweater, says Dodging Bullets. Oh, yeah, Dodging Bullets. She wants everyone to aesthetically see her as this victim, this innocent victim. I just didn't know. I was so fooled. Give me a break, y'all. They knew exactly what was going on. And every time that Melanie Gibb met with Hermosillo and the other investigator, they were trying to work around it, trying to find some way to make this bitch credible. Liza Joe says Mormon doctrine must be introduced in Chad's trial to save his butt. No way around it. Well, that's interesting. I haven't thought about that. I'm sure Kresha has, though. Would Chad Daybell unfold things that we're not supposed to know about the Mormon religion? Is there any way that the state prosecutors there can say, you can talk about it all you damn well want, but that don't equal up to what you did? Well, Liza Joe, when you say Chad was taught man can be a lowercase g, well, you didn't say it that way, but I say lowercase g. Fine. What kind of lowercase g or God or however you want, what kind of God would want to murder children and a beautiful, beautiful woman like Tammy? I don't think it's going to fly to a jury, no matter what their belief system is. And let's not forget, y'all, what is it, almost 4 years ago? KJ came on here and told y'all the concentrations of the Mormons and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Well, Fremont County, that's a big concentration over there. It's more concentrated in Fremont than it is in Ada. John DeLand revealed last year John Pryor reached out to him asking him to testify on Chad's behalf because of his knowledge about the Mormon church religion. He turned him down, he said. Okay. Well, I'm sure John Pryor will pull some expert out his ass. I'm sure. So anyway, y'all, I love you. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll get back together soon. Maybe something over the weekend. Maybe, we never know. KJ loves you all. I hope your weekend is special. And I love you, and keep on looking.